welcome back to the channel. So Liverpool have won, beating Burnley 1-0. And the truth is, we would say that this is what the champions do. This is what the DNA of champions have, to always grind out victories, to always win, to get the result, even if you're not playing well and the game isn't going according to plan. That is what champions do. And champions show their mettle. And they did. They really did. But sometimes it's not exactly like that. In particular, this game, I thought it was a game of, in NFL they call it inches. I thought it was a game of inches in terms of how we try to break down Burnley. So how Burnley set up is like a 5-4-1, completely double block, parking lot, fully stacked, fully loaded, and we had to try and break them down. And I thought the best thing that Slot did in this game was to take Kirkes out of the field to put in Robertson. Now, some person may call that harsh, and some person may say that, probably that's a little bit maybe too much or embarrassing. But the truth is, based on how Kirkes was playing or has been playing, this was well deserved. And hopefully he learns from that. But I thought this game proved how different Slot is to Klopp, and this is not to say that Klopp was a bad manager. This is not to taint his legacy. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that Slot's ruthlessness and tweaks were on display today. So I just pointed out as to taking off Kirkes early. I think it was in the 37th minute of the first half of the game, right? To put in Robertson, who played, I thought, pretty well, played pretty well. And from there, it was no just about game of trying to, you already have control of the ball, but no trying to unlock that defense. And I thought how Slot used Robertson was very interesting, and how he's able to constantly keep thinking of trying to break kind of that stronghold in the middle of the park, trying to find different ways to have numerical advantages in areas of the pitch where he's able to maybe have some combinations. And in the first half, we played pretty slow. It's like a repeat of last year, but we came out victorious this year or this time, because the first international break that we got and came back, we lost to Nottingham Forest 1-0 at home. And it's a reverse fixture now. In this way, that's a different opponent, of course, that no, we came back from the international break, but we won 1-0, even though we didn't play well. And in the first half, we played very lethargic. And I thought the ball movement was slow. I thought persons were trying to get energy. There wasn't enough energy in this particular first half. But in the second half, and I think, person may disagree, let me know in the comments, please. I think Alex McAllister won't be the starting central midfielder beside Gravenberch. I think that's going to be Dominic Szoboszlai. I think based on how Slot wants to use his team, because they not only need to be, of course, energetic and athletic, which I don't think Alex McAllister is not. But it's not to the level as to a Dominic Szoboszlai. It's not even to the level maybe of a Curtis Jones, where he's able to cover yards of space, to kind of eat up ground, so to speak. And I thought his game today wasn't that good. And what he did, again, some person may say it's obvious, let me know in the comments, was to take off McAllister, put on Connor Bradley, and then slot Dominic Szoboszlai right into the center of the park. And then from there, a lot of dynamism happened, a lot of interchange and a lot of rotations and ball positioning and positioning in terms of how persons were trying to circulate and move around, just to get more energy, get more feel into the game, to get more involved. Again, game of inches, to try and win, because you're still trying to win. But what was even more damning, and I think to maybe Jurgen Klopp than to Arne Slot, was that if it were a Jurgen Klopp team, I think what he would probably push more as an emphasis is to have more energy, to be more courageous and brave, which is all good because those are the risks that you have to take. But I think with Slot, it's different because it's not just about energy, it's about where exactly can I hit? What exactly is your weak point or weak area for me to be even more dominant in the game? And then it came later down in in the second half, where Rio came on for Gakpo, and then Frimpong came on for Dominic Sobozai because he wasn't getting much persons to run in behind. After taking off Ekitike and putting in Chiesa, beautiful ball from Robertson, where Chiesa probably should have hit the target. But outside of that, there weren't much persons running in behind. There wasn't enough persons making runs in various channels. And I thought Gyakpo, who again, I think is a very good winger, not a world class winger, but a very good winger that can become great if consistently plays that way. I thought he was lacking today. And the small cameo that Ria Ungumoa put on in 8 to 10 minutes stretched that Burnley backline so much that persons had to know, second guess as to how many persons were running in behind. So sometimes you would have Robertson making the overlap and there are his underlapping. Then you would have Ryan Gravenberch also making those channel runs as well because Rio was taking his man 1v1, challenging them. And I think this is where I think the balance, because again, it is about balance. It is about trying to get the best in various situations of the game. And I think Slot's constant tinkering, constant thinking, constant movement allow this game to switch and maybe have a mental lapse like what Hannibal did. Now, would we say that Liverpool deserved to win? Absolutely. But based on how they played, did they really deserve to win? I don't think so. I think they would be probably happy with a draw. Of course, Burnley would, of course, but it's just getting those fine margins, just maybe a slight relapse in concentration that allows a team like Liverpool to win. And that's exactly what happened. And he's going to have that again against Everton at home in a 12:30 kickoff. So this is probably more of a preview of what is to come against. Of course, in the Champions League, he will play in Atletico Madrid at home, who is very good defensively. Probably not great as back in the day with Diego Simeone, but very good defensively, very solid. And then to have that again at home against Everton, Liverpool are going to have to learn and are learning that it's going to take more than just energy. It's going to take technical brilliance. It's going to take intelligence and a lot of interchanging of positions. And I thought today Ryan Gravenberch did his thing. Ryan Gravenberch did his thing. To be honest, if there was a man of the match, it was between either Virgil van Dijk or Ryan Gravenberch. That really is the truth. And if it's off the pitch, then I'll definitely say Slot because Slot really was trying his best every situation, even to take off Konate, put on Frimpong to go more attacking because in the end, Burnley weren't even trying to attack as much. So you would normally have two V1s, which is a striker against the two centre backs. But because the striker isn't getting much, you just say, all right, let's take off one of the centre back and put on Frimpong. And there you have it. You have a goal. He was the one that provided the assist if you're using FPL to get that handball from Hannibal. And this is what I think football games with Arne Slot may look like when teams decide to sit back because they do know have that kind of technical brilliance between the lines. Verts played pretty good, didn't play his great game, but came along in the second half. And I thought Ekitike did his part trying to get as much link up play. Probably should have scored a goal. And then of course Salah didn't have his best game, but scoring the decisive win at the penalty. But these are the games that champions do win because this is how Manchester United used to win when we were growing up as a child. This is how in the last minute they would normally get wins, even if it's not a penalty, but there was something to show that they kept going at all times. And I think if this is how Liverpool plays, even if you're not playing 100%, ladies and gentlemen, Liverpool are not playing 100%. They're not playing as dynamic and expansive as they want to. They're still playing at maybe 55, 60%. And they have 4 wins or 4 games, 12 points. That's scary. That's very scary. But guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And this is what champions do. Till next time. Peace.